Well, I respect the move, but the entire thing has been a witch hunt, and there is no collusion between certainly myself and my campaign, but I can always speak for myself and the Russians, zero.
President Trump saying the appointment of a special counsel is a waste of time that only serves to divide the country. And we're back now with the panel. Brit, there were so many leaks, so many stories this week, including that Comey memo that he wrote right after a meeting in the Oval Office with the president, in which he said the president told him, why don't you let the investigation of Michael Flynn go? What strikes you about where we are now in this story?
Well, I've never seen leaks on this scale. I mean, Jason Riley, the Wall Street Journal, Kim's colleague, said here the other day that there are leaks and then there's Niagara Falls. Well, we're under Niagara Falls right now. I've never seen anything like it. And the problem with it is that even if you assume, Chris, that all these excerpts that we're seeing from memos and conversations and all the rest of it are accurate, they're only part of the story, and we're going to have to wait a while to get the rest of the story. It is perfectly possible, for example, Chris, to interpret what was apparently said to Comey in the Oval Office, indiscreetly, to be sure, by Donald Trump as being not a request to shut down an investigation, but a question to Comey as to whether now that that Flynn had been fired, and at the time the Washington Post had reported that an examination of his phone calls with the Russian ambassador had uncovered nothing improper. Wouldn't it be possible now to let this go? Because I think Trump thinks he's innocent, and he may think Flynn is innocent, and he's saying, hey, come on, how about it, man? Can't you wrap this up? Can't we let this go? That's indiscreet, it's probably improper, but it's not obstruction of justice. But in the atmosphere in which we're now living, everything is likened to Watergate. Reporters, even some who weren't there at the time, would like to relive that.
On this question of leaks and what's true here, we got a number of questions from you for the panel, and we got this on Twitter from Bob Courtbawi, who writes, what crimes have been committed? Not speculation, facts. What are they? What factual proof is there? No innuendos, no rumors, just facts. Congresswoman Harman, how do you answer Bob?
Well, Washington was broken before Donald Trump was elected president. That's one of the reasons he was elected president. And there were leaks before Donald Trump became president. So let's put that in the background. How do I answer him? We don't know if there were crimes committed. That's why a special counsel, not prosecutor, but a counsel to investigate collusion, any possible collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian meddling in the 2016 election was established. We'll see. But Congress also has a role. This is a point that's important. I was here for Watergate. I wasn't on one of the Watergate committees, but I was a counsel to the Senate. And Congress played an important role on a bipartisan basis, getting some tough answers to the toughest questions.
Are you troubled by this torrent of leaks that seem to be coming from?
Very troubled. John McCain is right. Leakers should be prosecuted. The Justice Department should go after leakers. We have enough statutes to prosecute them. And this climate of partial leaking is even worse, because then there are selected quotes and you can make anything seem true.
The White House got more bad news this week with the announcement that former FBI Director James Comey will testify in public before the Senate Intelligence Committee sometime after Memorial Day. Comey supporters are already trying to build a case for him and his credibility and what he's going to say. For instance, talking about the time 2 days after the inauguration when the president singled out Comey in the White House. Take a look.
Trump grabs the hand and kind of pulls him into a hug, but the hug is entirely one-sided. So one guy in the hug is shaking hands and the other guy is hugging. And Comey was just completely disgusted by the episode.
Kim, we've seen this before. This Comey testimony, this hearing, not saying whether he's right or wrong, and certainly people are going to push back, it's going to be a moment of high drama here in Washington.
Yes, everything about Jim Comey is high drama at the moment. I think the important point, and it's interesting here, you have all these leaks, half leaks, you have his defenders going out. This is not unusual for James Comey. He keeps these notes. They clearly were taken down as a sort of insurance policy precisely in case he did get fired along the way. This has happened in the past, too. You know, he's come out and he suddenly had a piece of paper showing a letter that he'd sent that he was not on board with the Bush's enhanced interrogation tactics back at the time. He's a very meticulous note keeper for the purpose of making sure that he's exonerated later if there are any questions that are coming out. So what's going to be interesting, though, about this hearing is whether or not it really tells us anything of use, because he is going to be reticent, I think, to talk about any of the questions that actually do need being answered, given that a lot of it's classified.
And I gotta say, Juan, that the president's supporters are already beginning, if Comey supporters are trying to build him up, Trump's supporters are trying to tear him down, saying, well, if there really was this attempt to obstruct justice on go easy on Flynn, then why didn't he go public with it? Why didn't he resign? Why didn't he tell more people in the Justice Department?
Just give me a moment here to say, if you have a leak, please call me at Fox News. I'm all for leakers. I think leakers are good, contribute to democracy. I don't think try to undermine government, but I don't think we condemned Obama for going harshly against people who were disclosing information, acting as if they were agents of some foreign government. This is a democracy. We have a First Amendment. Reporters play an essential role.
Yeah, but this isn't on the reporters.
No.
This is on the people inside the government.
But I'm telling you,
don't you think they have a responsibility to keep
They do have a
secrets?
responsibility. In some cases, they've signed an oath. But guess what? We have, as Jane Harman said a moment ago, a history in this country of people talking to the press, leaking, taking risk. I don't see all of a sudden, oh, just because of this president, all of a sudden everybody who says, you know what, there's a risk to democracy is to be condemned.
Have you ever seen a torrent of leaks like this?
No, it's unbelievable. And guess what? Have I ever seen a president like this? No, I haven't. I think everybody will say that, supporters and opponents. But let me just answer your question.
You've got 30 seconds left.
I think Jim Comey should not have commented if he felt that he was being pressured to drop it. I think that would have compromised the ongoing investigation. He took contemporaneous notes, and his job is to see the investigation, the probe through as the FBI director, not to act on his thoughts. As Brit Hume said, you have to sense clear intention, and I don't think that's been demonstrated to make the obstruction of justice case. And by the way, high crimes and misdemeanors, that's up to the people in the Senate. It's not a statutory crime.
There. Let me just say, I can't wait for the Comey hearing. It's going to be really interesting. Thank you, panel. See you next Sunday.